Welcome to Mount Olive Lutheran's online Sunday school. Over the next few weeks and months, we will hopefully be producing 1 or 2 lessons a week. These are intended to be a resource for parents as they continue to spiritually educate their children and to raise them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. These are not intended to be soul or individual things and the only thing that a parent uses as they continue to spiritually guide and nurture their children, but simply one tool among many that can be used. Each lesson will include a Bible story that is connected with the theme or the topic for the day. Following each Bible story, there will be 4 questions. Parents are encouraged to use the pause function on whatever device they're using to pause the video and ask the question of their children and encourage their children to answer them. Following those questions, there will be a memory treasure or memory verse. Parents are also encouraged to model great Christian behavior and to say the verse along with me, and also to encourage their children to memorize and learn the verse by heart. Each week we will also sing some sort of hymn stanza or an entire hymn. Again, we're encouraging you to sing along with your children and to memorize these beautiful and well-treasured hymns. Finally, at the end of every lesson will be a time for prayer. A prayer won't be offered on here, but you'll be encouraged to offer a prayer on behalf of or even with your children, depending on their age. We hope and pray that these resources are a great blessing to you and to your family in this difficult and interesting time. The first part of our Sunday school, we will be discussing the 10 Commandments. The first commandment can be found in the Bible story of the people of Israel and the golden calf. We find that in Exodus chapter 32. I'd encourage you to open a Bible or to find it on your phone and to read along with us. When the people saw that it took so long for Moses to come down from the mountain, the people gathered around Aaron and said to him, "Get up, make a god for us who will go before us, because this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him." Aaron said to them, "Pull off the gold earrings from your wives and sons and daughters and bring them to me." All the people pulled off their gold earrings and brought them to Aaron. He took what they handed him and shaped it with an engraving tool and made it into a bull calf cast out of metal. Then they said, "This is your God, Israel, which brought you up out of the land of Egypt." When Aaron saw this, he built an altar in front of it, and Aaron made a proclamation. He said, "Tomorrow shall be a festival to the Lord." They got up early the next day and offered burnt offerings and brought fellowship offerings. Then the people sat down to eat and to drink and got up to celebrate wildly. The Lord spoke to Moses, "Hurry down, because your people, whom you brought up out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. They have quickly turned from the way which I commanded them. They have made a calf for themselves out of metal and have worshipped it. They have sacrificed to it and said, 'This is your God, Israel, which brought you up out of the land of Egypt.'" The Lord said to Moses, "I have seen these people, and they certainly are a stiff-necked people. So now leave me alone, so that my anger can burn hot against them, so that I may consume them and make you into a great nation." Moses begged the Lord his God and said, "O Lord, why does your anger burn against your people whom you have brought out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Why should the Egyptians say, 'He brought them out for an evil purpose, to kill them in the mountains and to consume them from the face of the earth?' Turn back from your fierce anger and change your mind about inflicting disaster on your people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, your servants, to whom you swore by your own self. You said to them, 'I will multiply your seed like the stars of the sky, and I will give all this land that I have spoken about to your seed, and they shall inherit it forever.' Then the Lord changed his mind about the disaster which he said he would inflict on his people. Moses turned and went down the mountain with the 2 tablets of testimony in his hand, tablets that were written on both sides, written on one side and on the other. The tablets were the work of God, and the writing was the writing of God, engraved on the tablets. When Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said to Moses, "There is the noise of war in the camp." Moses said, "It is not the sound of people who shout for victory, neither is it the sound of people who cry because of defeat. But I do hear the sound of people who are celebrating." As soon as Moses came near the camp, he saw the calf and the dancing, and Moses' anger burned. So he threw the tablets out of his hands and broke them at the foot of the mountain. He took the calf that they had made, burned it with fire, ground it to powder, and scattered it on the water. Then he made the people of Israel drink it. Moses said to Aaron, What did these people do to you that you have brought such a great sin on them?" Aaron said, "Do not let the anger of my Lord burn. You know these people. They are set on evil. So they said to me, 'Make a god for us, who will go ahead of us, because this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him.' So I said to them, 'Whoever has any gold, pull it off.' So they gave it to me. I threw it into the fire, and out came this calf." When Moses saw that the people were out of control, for Aaron had let them get so out of control that they were disgraced among their enemies, Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, "Whoever is on the Lord's side, come to me." All the descendants of Levi gathered themselves together to Moses. He said to them, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Every man is to strap his sword on his thigh and go back and forth throughout the camp, from one gate of the camp to the other, and every man is to kill his brother, and every man his friend, and every man his neighbor." The Levites did what Moses said, and that day about 3,000 men from among the people fell. Moses said, "Begin your service of the Lord today. Yes, because every man among you took a stand against his son and against his brother. The Lord is bestowing a blessing on you today." And the next day Moses said to the people, "You have committed a very serious sin. Now I will go up to the Lord. Perhaps I can gain atonement for your sin." Moses returned to the Lord and said, "Yes, this people has committed a very serious sin. They have made a god of gold for themselves. Yet now, if you will, please forgive their sin. And if not, please erase me from your book which you have written." The Lord said to Moses, "Whoever has sinned against me is the one I will erase from the book. Now go, lead the people to the place about which I have spoken to you. Look, my angel shall go ahead of you. Nevertheless, when the right day comes for me to punish, I will punish them for their sin." The Lord struck the people with a plague because of what they had done with the calf that Aaron made. What was the story about? When you think about the story that we just read, what is it that it's teaching us to be thankful for? In other words, finish this sentence for me. I am thankful for... When we think about the story that we just read, what is it telling us to be sorry for? Finish this sentence. I am sorry for... What is it that this story is teaching us that we can pray for? Finish this sentence. I can pray for... Our memory treasure for the day is the First Commandment. Say it with me. You shall have no other gods. What does this mean? We should fear, love, and trust in God above all things. Martin Luther wrote a hymn to teach his children the 10 Commandments. My encouragement to us today is to learn this hymn too, as we learn the 10 Commandments as well. You can find this hymn in your red Christian worship hymnals. It's hymn 285. The 10 Commandments are the law, which Israel heard in holy awe. In smoke and fire from Sinai, the voice of God shook the sky. Have mercy, Lord. I am your Lord and God alone, no other God but me enthroned. Put your whole confidence in me. Give me your heart totally. Have mercy, Lord. Parents, I would encourage you now to pray with your kids, using those thoughts of what we could pray for based on the Bible story we just heard. Tune back later this week or perhaps next week for another lesson as we study the second commandment. May God bless your week.